So bond prices increased again, which is never a good sign. We don't want our game to be more expensive to play, but unfortunately, that is how the cookie crumbles. I still would always recommend anyone to buy a month's membership over a bond, if that is financially possible of course, yet I think RuneScape 3 players are misunderstanding the reason for the price increase, as I see a lot of people outraged about MTX and keys and treasure hunter, whilst at the same time the bonds for old school also increased in price, regardless of them not having any of that crap in their game. Before you click off or type an angry comment about how I'm sucking off Jagex again, just wait a moment here, because there's a bigger issue than a $1 price increase and the reason for it, as there is also a bit more perspective than "Ooga booga, Jagex greedy." Yes, that is for sure part of it, but every company is greedy and Jagex are not the only ones increasing their prices. One thing that never increases in price is leaving a like on this video and subscribing, as it really helps me out. My name is Chivalric, let's talk about this. So to get the quote unquote non-issue of the $1 price increase of bonds out of the way, yeah, it sucks, but if you simply type in on Google subscription price increase, you will find that any streaming platform, newspaper and whatever subscription service you can think of has increased their prices due to inflation and quote, offering more value to their subscriptions, thus asking more money, which obviously is capped in most cases and doesn't apply to RuneScape either, even though I still think that there is no game out there that offers as much value for subscription as RuneScape does, seeing as you not only get full access to RuneScape 3, but also to old school RuneScape. This trend also makes me think that the membership prices in general will soon go up again as well, yet I'd still stand by my argument of it being worth it. Obviously, bonds are also used to buy GP, and in the case of RuneScape 3, other MTX related items like keys and rune coins, but we will get to that, hold your horses. Now, to not get too deep into a capitalism is evil and these companies are greedy discussion, we're a RuneScape channel after all, not an economic forum, yes it does suck, as obviously we haven't suddenly started making more money, yet everything is getting more expensive, and sure, companies like Jagex or Netflix or whoever increased their prices can easily get by with their old prices, but maximizing profits will always be priority number one, and the unfortunate reality with RuneScape is that if they don't increase these prices and they want to meet their unrealistic financial goals, they will have to lay off developers, which we obviously don't want. The issue, however, doesn't necessarily lay with the IRL price increase of bonds though, in my opinion. It's more so its effect on the price of them in-game. Bond prices are at an all-time high in both games, with RuneScape 3 bonds reaching nearly 150 million GP each, and that's an issue. Not only does that mean that IRL funds can give you a bigger in-game advantage due to the prices being higher and you being able to buy more gold, it also makes it so that the whole point of this item's introduction, or the point that people think it has, becomes more redundant with every million GP it increases. Even though people think that bonds were introduced as an in-game way to purchase membership, the real reason they were introduced was to offer an alternative to buying GP from sketchy websites, which has always been their main purpose, combating gold selling websites. Even if buying GP there will always be cheaper, it's obviously against game rules, so don't do it. The whole sales pitch of, oh yeah, this will offer players a way to purchase membership with in-game funds, has always been a secondary objective of bonds, and quite frankly, a genius sales pitch as well, as it even made old school RuneScape players consider MTX into their game, even if they don't like to admit it. Yet this secondary purpose is the actual reason why the price increase of bonds is an issue, the effect that it has on the price of them in-game. Due to bonds not having a set value, increasing the price of them in real life makes them more expensive and inaccessible to free-to-play players and even pay-to-play players who rely on bonds for their memberships. Now, I would always advise anyone who can't make 20 million GP an hour in RuneScape against buying bonds, as I think it will catch you up in the endless loop of having to spend GP on upkeeping your membership instead of progressing your account quicker. But obviously, there are a lot of people out there who simply can't afford buying membership with IRL funds and who rely on the system of bonds. So here's a bit of a controversial take. Well, more so a question. Should Jagex care about these people? Because if you can't afford membership with hard cash, why would Jagex want you as a player? They aren't really making money off you in any way, shape or form, so do you really matter to them? Obviously the actual JMods do care, but the company itself, probably less so. They want paying customers who will increase their profits. From a human perspective, and my own perspective as well, is that Jagex obviously should care and that they need to look into some sort of middle ground solution to solving this issue, which I think would be setting a set price for bonds. Like for example, 100 million GP in Runescape 3, which I think would still make them worth buying them with IRL money for GP, but also more realistic to obtain for players who rely on them for their membership. It's still a lot of money, but at least it's not a goalpost that keeps on shifting. Yet I'm afraid that won't happen, as that means keys will also become cheaper by default for players that buy them with in-game money, and then they make less profit of them. And due to both games always having inflation, both RuneScape 3 and old school RuneScape, this will only increase the appeal for people who use them for GP to go to these sketchy websites to buy their funds there. So I think it's a double-edged sword from Jagex's perspective, where the only solution for them and their profit goals is increase the price, and if you can't buy them with in-game money, sucks for you. Now for everyone watching this video, and myself as well, we obviously want all people to be able to play our game regardless of their financial status. And I would love for some sort of action to be taken to keep buying bonds with in-game money a realistic thing for people who rely on them, a thing. Yet I'm afraid that those players just simply don't matter enough to the company Jagex, which really sucks for us as a community and the developers themselves as well. They want as many people to play their content regardless of where they are from or who they are. So yeah, the IRL bond price increase feels greedy, but the bigger issue is its effect on the in-game prices of them and how it could possibly make playing the game less accessible for people who have lower incomes. And the worst part about it is there's nothing we can do about it, and probably nothing that will be done about it either. Thank you for watching.